Hey, welcome to Sports Time Nutrition here Friday, April 18th. The Sports Talk crew, the Sports Commission crew in here. You might as well be the Sports Talk crew. You are the number one guest we've had, I think, most times on like if this was Carson, you would be on the first time, and maybe
you're very good about getting my name right.
Marisa Roeder. I'll get the last name wrong then. So how are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
How are things in the Sports Commission world?
Great.
You're going to tell us about events coming. The sponsors, I want you to kind of tell everybody just exactly what the Sports Commission is and what y'all mean to our Rock Creek Golf and Country Club, Jones Onslow EMC, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative, Jones LP Gas, located in Verona. Hollywood is figured on that. I kept saying
propane.
Propane bottles. $11 on Friday.
Okay.
So you got to check that out. Suntouch Painting, Fountain Management, Emo Company, Barnum and Gallery, Lane Associates Family Dentistry, Doctors Tommy and Kim Morgan, Bartley Insurance Services, Bill Mercer, and Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning. I want to thank Helen's Kitchen and Billy Grist. They haven't quite got here yet. Every now and then we like to mix it up and not just do breakfast. Today, we're doing BLTs. Is that good with you guys?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I know you guys were health conscious, not even doctor, but anyway, we'll talk about that later. Kitchen and Billy Grissett for feeding the show and guests, and our hurricane watch. Last week it was a tropical storm watch. We're down to tropical watch this week. They're in the playoffs, not playing a lot of players, but we'll talk about that later. It's kind of sad. We have our racing report. It's powered by Onslow County Motor Company. Ben Beasley in the gang. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Wave to the YouTube and Facebook world there. At W, you can watch us live. View tons of previous shows. You can watch us and like us on Facebook, of course. Facebook at Freedom 97.1 WSME. Listen online and listen at our website at WSME971.com. And of course, good old 96, the FM, like in the surrounding counties, the AM feed will roll through. Thank you. Is that Billy? How are you, Billy?
Doing great.
Thank you for bringing us those delicious beets. I know you guys want to dive in now, but it's hard to talk.
Can we chew on the air? Can we do it?
With lettuce in your mouth?
Yeah.
It looked like he had a couple helpers too.
A couple of
Helpers.
He did.
Yeah.
Probably should have announced them. Billy always has
Spring
helpers.
break,
He's got a big family. That's
grandkids.
true. And have you noticed when you go to the stores and stuff this week, they're everywhere.
You know, I've noticed. I don't know what it is. There's more people at the gym. I don't know.
Well, their kids are home. They
I
want to get out.
guess. I guess.
Get away.
I go in and I was like, wait, this 5:30 crowd is not the same crowd. It's a lot more.
5:30 a.m.?
Yeah. 5:30. I'm there. Well, I should say I'm there more closer to 6. My husband's there at
I haven't even hit
5:30.
the first snooze yet at 5:30. Retired life is wonderful. Other
I
than
would
golf
not
course
know.
day, I would get up early for the golf course, but other than that. So who wants to start us off? First of all, let's give everybody an overview of what the Sports Commission does for us, for Onslow County, for Jacksonville.
Okay. So we're a nonprofit organization.
Mm-hmm.
Our mission is to bring new dollars to Onslow County, and we do that through sporting events. So we're really an economic development organization. And then
Sports tourism
Yeah.
organization.
we obviously also in life for Onslow County residents because are in our events.
They get active.
Yeah, either watching a boxing match or running in a race or playing in ECI or whatever the case may be. So, but we're really here to drive new dollars in Onslow County.
You want to put
Feet and sheets.
feet and sheets, heads in beds, heads on beds.
You usually say beds on heads.
I know, but I did it right this time. I'm trying to be more of a perfectionist. I know. So what is going on? First of all, you just had a big event recently.
We had a few.
I know, but the big one was the Beat the Bridge, right?
Well, Yes, so that one got rescheduled. So we've recently had Beat the Bridge, Frogman, and Sledgehammer.
Well, tell us about them.
Okay. So Beat the Bridge was originally scheduled for early January, and of course we're supposed to get all this ice and a lot of those things.
Yeah, we did get a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So it got moved to February 9th, which was what was happening on that day, Chris?
February 9th was the Super Bowl.
That's right.
Who
And
doesn't
so
know?
that's
Who
a
can't be topical.
10K and 5K, sponsored by Marine Chevy. Our estimated economic impact for that event was a little over 15,000, estimated 83 room nights, speaking of feet and sheets.
Wow.
We had 623 registrants. That was up 28% from last year, and that was the largest number ever for one of our races. Now, not any race in the county, but one of our sports commission
Well,
races.
just yours.
Right.
Because you have those other series that you kind of participate in, right?
Yeah, like
and the base has a
right,
half
like the Marine
marathon.
Chevy Shuffle. That's got all the kids and their parents, so that, it's usually like 900 people.
It's
So
like when they have rec night at the football game.
right,
Not just the kids come, the parents come, the
Right.
grandparents come,
Right.
everybody comes.
and then we had Frogman on March 22nd.
And that's an interesting event. Tell us what that entails.
So it's in honor of Chris Campbell, and he was a White Oak student, and he and 30 others were killed in Afghanistan. And it's in honor of them. And it's really two events in one. It's a 5K trail run. There's also a 3D bow hunting challenge. So our trail run, we had 418. That was up 24% over last year. Bow hunting, we had 141, which is up 135% over last year. So we made a big jump there. Estimated 81 room nights, estimated economic impact of a little over $16,000. So the event's been around for a while. This is our second year being involved, and really the second year of the resurrection, because it went away for several years during COVID and all that. So it was almost like starting over. And
The location is at the future site of some multi-purpose facility. It's known as the 400 acres that the city of Jacksonville purchased.
Wasn't that where Winnie the Pooh lived? And that was just something.
The 100 acre wood.
100 acre woods or something, yeah. So out there off of Western and Gum Ranch, Western Extension and Gum Ranch, it's what is it, Williamsburg area, sort of, yeah.
yeah.
How's that? The other stuff going? I mean, not to get off the subject, but how's that?
They're still progressing nicely.
planning stage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now
You know,
back to the Frogman thing. You said it's bow hunting and running, correct?
Yeah.
They don't. Which do they
Separate.
do first?
Well,
They don't have to do both.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I could just show up and do the bow hunting.
Correct.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we did the trail run that morning, and when all the runners are off to trail, then they start the bow hunting.
I'm starting to say doing a lot of running before bow hunting could be.
There
kinda
are
productive, too.
some that do both, but it's not a huge crossover number that do both.
But it was 31 targets. And then Extreme Outfitters got a lot of really great raffle prizes. And their big raffle was is it PS30?
It was some very expensive
I don't
bow
know
that
anything
gets
about
custom
archery.
fitted to your body, et cetera. And
Nice.
yeah.
So they were wonderful in helping us get more archery vendors to donate product for their raffles.
Awesome.
So it
And
was
that
nice.
was sponsored by SIA Group, and the Campbell family's very involved, and obviously the city letting us use that property and clearing shooting lanes and all of the things that they assist with. So it takes a lot of folks for that one, and Extreme kind of came on a little late, so we really think we could see some huge growth in the bow hunting portion of that next year. Now, there's challenges. Parking and some other things, because obviously they've not made parking lots or anything there
It's
yet.
not,
So,
it's not open for business.
at some point you either have to expand number of days or cut off the number, or you just can't actually accommodate it. But we're looking at all those options for next year.
Now, did you guys do much of the bow stuff? You guys bow shoot any?
No.
I haven't
Never done it?
I did it, I think, when I was 12.
Oh, like
Was it the old curved bow or was it the compound bow?
It was old.
I did like
curves.
in PE class where it's like a string and some stick they whittled.
That's Tennessee for you.
That's right.
Yeah.
So this is
That's how we hunt out yonder.
this is every kind of bow. They have basically every category except crossbow. So nothing
Obviously,
automatic.
no crossbow, yeah.
Right.
And they
You
have,
don't want to be
But
slinging bolts
recurve
through
and
the woods.
longbow and
they
all
have
this.
women's, they have men's, and then they have, I think, 3 different,
Yeah, peewee, youth. Yeah.
and there was one in between.
Yeah.
But you were there for the event and saw the bows and stuff.
Yeah.
They're a lot
did.
different than they used to be.
Yeah.
Even a compound bow now more resembles like a, not as much a D, but it's like a M or something. You know, it's more of a square
Yes.
look to it. Yeah, the way
it does
the
look
way it
like a
breaks down.
sideways M.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or an E maybe, I guess. But so you've never shot a compound bow, the one where when you pull it back, it breaks down for you, which is a lot easier to shoot than the one you were talking about, like the recurve, where you have to hold all the tension at one time.
Yeah.
And the little triggers, are they allowed to use the triggers, or do they have to use their fingers?
Not
Or
sure.
didn't you notice? There's little trigger things that like hook on the bow, and when you pull it back, you press a button.
But
It makes the release a
some
lot
of these
smoother.
folks are really, really good, but it's still pretty tough. Like you've got a little armadillo that's,
You shot on
30 yards away,
Yeah.
and you're trying to judge that downward trajectory and distance and all that. So,
And they'll have the different
it's tough.
sight colors, but you're right, it's hard to judge sometimes, especially wind, things packed in.
Yeah.
Now, once you get it sighted in, you can be more accurate with a bow than you can with a handgun a lot of times. Putting it on the same, like
Yeah, it
put them
makes
all in
sense.
the same little place, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, those guys that do it are really good at it.
so it's
guys and
it's
girls.
neat because it's unique, it's different. So it's a neat event.
Any other events you just had?
We just had Sledgehammer on April 5th, and we had 449 folks sign up for that one. That was up 30%. Estimated room nights, 67. Estimated economic impact, 13,463. That one is a challenge.
And where's that one at again?
North Topsail Beach, so it's out and back on the beach.
I know these things, but I'm
Yeah, well, no thanks. And
So it's at
priming
beach access number 2. If you didn't know and you want free parking on North Topsail Beach, the county owns beach access 2 and beach access 4. Those are the shore side, and so they allow us to be down there at beach access 2. We run into a couple of issues with this event. One is we can't set up until that morning. I don't know if I want to talk about the issues we had this
Oh,
year.
please.
well, the
So-
reason we can't is because of
Things like
high,
this make
high
it
tide.
interesting.
You
Yeah.
can't just leave stuff out
Yeah,
there
we've
and take
had
it away.
we've had to adjust our days that we have this event based on the high tide, and then there's also there's construction going on
Yeah.
the beach, so some of that sand is awfully new and awfully soft.
yes. They've done a lot of beach renourishment,
Yes, so we had half marathon, 10K, and 5K, and so
and they actually run on the beach.
Yeah.
they do the entire.
And when you're
way.
talking those kind of numbers to get, well, off the top of my head, I think we had 13 coolers out there at all the water stops. You got to get all the coolers out there, all the cups, all the tables, and there's no rural access points from the road. So this is doing it from the beach. So it just takes a long time to get set up.
They have the little trailers and everything you have to do, or to use ATVs or
Like-
something.
well, we tried to use the
Gators,
truck.
and we tried to use a truck.
They wouldn't let you use an ATV,
Oh no, we had an ATV as well.
Okay. like a
The-
mule they call it, the side by
the-
side or whatever.
The truck got stuck. So here I am, not even halfway through the course.
Did you get the truck stuck?
I wasn't driving, but it was very dark and didn't really see the soft sand till we got into it. And so they had to get a backhoe.
You don't have to see soft sand. You can feel it when you get in it. You know
Well,
when
it
you,
just
you
came
know when
out.
you're
There was-
stuck, don't you?
But
Yeah.
there's sometimes you can see ahead of you,
Yeah.
like,
It's
oh,
also
definitely.
dark, and yeah.
Anyways, we quickly had to shuffle things from the truck into the gator, and I had to leave the truck and go and continue to set up the rest of the
Logistics.
course. And then we had to scrap some of our plans because we usually try and have timers at turnaround points. I said, I don't got time.
We
to
can
do
get the
that.
equipment out there. So.
So we, at a minimum, got all of the tables, turnaround, all of the coolers out there.
It all
It's a
worked
lot.
out.
It all worked out, but it's just a lot to do that morning. Prepping beforehand, I measure the course, and then I drop pins and send myself so I can go down there and see exactly where I have my mile markers, where I have my turnarounds. It's a lot of
a
like
lot
on
of
our
work.
end.
Sounds like.
Yeah, on our
And
end.
you
that's-
guys have like a DJ and all that out there too.
We
Yeah.
did have a DJ.
You ever
yes.
play the song Sledgehammer during the Sledgehammer?
He didn't this year. I asked him to last year, and he
Gabriel
played it
song? Yeah.
50 times.
How would you not do that?
That's the other one where there's some spanking
Yeah.
and getting that many cool. I mean, if you keep
'Cause
growing,
like you said, everything's not free down there.
no, and again, at some point, you're like, hey, do we have time to come up with alternatives for how do you make this work, and then do the cost offset, the benefit and the added expenses.
So if we add a shuttle, you've got the time, and it's not.
Where would you shuttle them from? Yeah, that's right.
Not so close, and you're adding porta potty, you're paying for the show. I mean, so there's all those things to factor in.
When does the parking start back up down there? Isn't it like March 1st or something?
I think it's all year
It's
round.
year round.
There's one section. There's one time where it is free, but I think it's
I don't think
end of
North
February or something.
I don't think North.
So what date was the sledgehammer?
It was April 5th.
Okay, so you just had it. Yeah, I know it was open by then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is not an air raid siren. We are not under any kind of duress. We are having our first break. That tells the people on video that we're having our first break. That siren tells people on radio.
Got it.
Audio. So we'll be right back on Sports Talk. Hey, welcome back to Sports Talk. Jacksonville Onslow Sports Commission crew with us today. Marisa Reeder, welcome.
Hello. Thank you.
Scott Smith,
So,
both big NASCAR fans.
huge.
Never.
Never.
Never. Never been to a race.
Never.
Never been to Bristol.
Nope.
Now Hollywood's been to Bristol a ton.
Notice he's not asking me.
They got Pocono up yonder,
They do.
up north.
Yes, but I've never been.
You never been to Pocono?
I-
Do you know what makes Pocono different than other tracks?
It's held in Pocono.
Yeah, it's in the Poconos, but it's a triangle. So there's not just like, it's not like an oval. It's a triangle. It's kind of weird. So there's three distinct turns. Our NASCAR Arsenal report is Onslow County Motor Company, Ben Beasley in the gang. So if you guys need a good, slightly used car, go see Ben Beasley in the gang. They'll sell you one. They'll sell you a race car, truck, whatever you want. NASCAR is what we call the good old days. Started at Martinsville Sunday, March 30th. April 6th, which was the day after the sledgehammer. They're at Darlington. Last week, they're at Bristol. Now, Bristol would have been, you'd have enjoyed Bristol. It's like flying, jet engine or jet airplanes in a gymnasium.
That's what everybody says. It's
Out
the
track,
noise.
yeah, they fly. Banking, the NASCAR boys are off this weekend because it's Easter. They don't race on Easter. And then the weekend after, they'll be at Talladega. So they're right in the middle of the old school tracks. Then they'll go to Texas. Going to the Boone area, you probably see the track on the right side with the trees growing out of it, and it just looked terrible. But Earnhardt Jr. and some others resurrected it, got it back running. So they're racing back at North Wilkesboro. Then they'll have Charlotte. So some good track races coming up. Like I said, the next one will be Talladega in a week, Sunday, April 27th. So let's give the results. I know you guys are waiting with bated breath.
I also say Talladega, but the people that live there say Talladega,
Talladega? Oh,
which is how it's spelled. Also,
I didn't know that.
yeah, Talladega.
I think it's an Indian name, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a tribe there. Going back to the race last week, where was it at? Did I say it was at? Bristol.
Bristol.
Kyle Larson won in a Chevrolet, Denny Hamlin in a Toyota, Ty Gibbs in a Toyota, Chase Briscoe in a Toyota, Ryan Blaney in a Ford. That was the top five. William Byron was sixth. So I'm guessing he's still the points leader. He is. William Byron is the points leader. Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, and Chase Elliott. Denny Hamlin, ironically enough, was an older school NASCAR driver, and he had won the last two races before that on the old school tracks. So NASCAR's kind of getting back to the good old days. Thank you to Onslow County Motor Company, Ben Beasley and the gang for sponsoring our racing report. Is that something that could fall under you guys to do as part of, it's not like a sport, so I guess not.
saying
Coordinate
NASCAR's
with
not a
some of the
sport?
local tracks to bring, you're racing an automobile. it's motorsports, but it's not like a physical sport. No, I say that.
Yeah, but
Driving
we're-
500 miles.
technically our world is turning into sports and entertainment. So
Really?
yes, there's a lot
Now,
of
I don't know that the tracks and the drag strips here need our help, but
They probably just don't want any interjection.
yeah,
Well,
we
they'll
try to
get some
track.
money.
We try to track those numbers though. We've reached out before and been able to get some numbers on like the number of out of towners that come on an average
It
race.
depends
Kind
on
of track.
They have one series where they're here for 2 or 3 days, and it's the car series or whatever it's called, where it's kind of a national circuit. It's under NASCAR. So, yeah, those you probably get some.
Yeah, so
folks
you get
staying.
some folks that come into the night. The cars themselves, they're either close enough to drag and forth, or they have trailer and Winnebago type things.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely some impact from that.
That's true. And that would interest to see the economic income now. Last summer, I don't think it's been 2 summers ago. Earnhardt Jr. came and was at the
I was,
racetrack.
I was there in the
There's
pit.
a lot of people. So you have been to races before.
Well, yeah,
Just not now.
my son drives, I think, the Legend version. So
Yeah, the Legends cars are the cars that look like the old goose coupes, sort of, but they got one seat in the middle. It's not like a car, but they're pretty cool, and they do pretty good on the tracks too. They race Legends out at the New River All American Speedway. So you were at that race,
yeah,
and did you meet Earnhardt Jr.?
I didn't meet him.
You're the only one there that didn't, because he stayed and signed autographs for anybody that would do it. They said it was like 3,000-4,000 people probably showed up for that thing. You
It
probably
was-
saw it was
yeah,
well
it
attended.
was
So
well
that night would have been a good night to do an economic study.
That's good that he
If you
did
could.
that.
Oh yeah. So let's jump back into what you guys got coming up, or does that cover all the recent events you just had?
Yeah, since we've been here anyway.
Okay. You got-
Marissa can tell you about the next event.
Well, please do, Marisa.
All right. So we
I'm
have
guessing it's the New River Splash.
yes, you've heard of it.
I have, and I see it over there.
Yes. So New River Splash, it is a triathlon, duathlon, and 5K. So 3 options. Triathlon, they will swim in the New River. And before anyone says anything, all of the athletes are aware that there are creatures that live in the river.
And none of them are bothering you when there's that many bodies, boats, jet skis, kayaks. in the water.
I run a social media ad and I have like at least 10 comments that are talking
Oh,
about
you're
the
talking about
gators.
like alligators and snakes
Yeah.
and stuff. I thought you were talking about
Yeah.
the bayou people.
The-
No,
Okay.
but what I have found, because I'm not a triathlete, but these triathletes, they go to questionable water, or races with questionable water all the time. We do test it for period. That is per a sanctioning fee that we have to do through.
How did it turn out? Everything good?
Well, every year it has been.
We've
We
probably shared this before. This is crazy because you look at fracks looking water, but if you ever scoop some up and pour it out, it's very clear.
Yeah.
It is fractions away from being drinking water level.
Yeah.
You could take it out of the river and drink.
So the area you're at, I'm guessing, is around.
Marina downtown.
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
is where it's brackish
Right.
and getting
and
closer to fresh
the
water.
reason that you don't see clear to the bottom where it looks like brewed tea in color is because of the leaves that are falling to the bottom.
Yeah,
and
where they
then-
decompose
Yes.
and stuff. Yeah.
So
But it's very clean water.
we won't
Yeah.
won't test the water until the first week,
Yeah,
of,
wake up.
of May.
Oh, we used to ski in it all the time. And we were more in the saltwater portion, like Town Point, that area.
I would have leaves and
Shark.
creek chicken you in the face.
Big
'Cause They all hit
sharks.
the water at the same time.
I think there's more sharks in the ocean than there are alligators in the
New
river.
River.
And most of the gators try to stay away from you unless you provoke them.
Yeah, that's
So
it's a lot
in the water, we also have at least 2 lifeguards. We have the fire department with their diver and their boat. We've got a couple of volunteers on
Water
boats.
rescue, all that stuff.
We have jet skis. There's several people monitoring the water.
kayaks.
Well, that's awesome.
And
It's safe.
anyone that feels like they're a nervous swimmer, we give them a red swim cap to wear, so then our volunteers and lifeguards can pay attention to those people. And if you're having trouble, you roll onto your back, you lift your arm. So honestly, safety is our number 1 priority with
I would be
this race.
perfectly safe because I have a neoprene ski vest, and I would have that on if I was doing that much swimming because I probably have my cardio.
The fastest person did it in 5 minutes last year.
What's the distance they did in 5 minutes?
400 meters.
Okay. So where do they just jump in one side, go to the other?
They do jump off the dock and then they go up the ladder.
Basically a rectangle that they swim.
Okay.
very
so like they go
skinny.
out, come back. Okay.
Yeah, it's a very skinny rectangle. And then they hop on their bikes and go up through downtown. We're actually going to be closing this road behind here, College to Canterbury, a little bit of Stratford.
Especially with Garbage Street the way it is. Good Lord. Everyone finish that street? Do you know what I'm talking about? The other way in?
They're
Yeah.
down to the final portion, but it's been a while.
I feel for the businesses there because it's been tough, I'm sure.
Yes.
So they'll be solid too.
Yeah, College, Canterbury, a little bit of Stratford. They're going to enter Camp Johnson and then go through up. There's a little housing area and then onto Wilson Boulevard. They'll take that all the way back. It's an out and back course that's 17.5 miles. Then they hop off their bikes and they will run a 5K. So that's the triathlon. That's the one that we see the most people traveling in from outside the area because we don't, in North Carolina, we don't have a lot of triathlons. The only triathlon in Onslow. So we see a mix of locals and then some elite athletes, those that want to be earn points for the North Carolina Tri Series because we're also a part of that series. One is a little bit different. They will run 1 mile and then hop on their bikes. Same bike course, and then they come back, hop off, and do the 5K.
So no swimming.
No swimming for the triathlon. Both events are USAT events, which are USA Triathlon. So you do have to pay for a membership, a 1 day or a yearship. All of that's done through the registration site. And then we also have just the 5K. You don't have to have a USAT membership. You can just worry about running 3.1 miles in downtown Jacksonville.
Okay. Just 3.1 miles.
That's
Yeah,
all.
nothing to it.
That-
Marathon?
Not even close.
Oh, wait a minute. 13.1 is the
Yes,
half.
13.1.
Not 3.1, but 13.1.
Off 10.
That would be off by 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this event we've had, I mean, it originally started in 2017 as a festival, and then we officially became a triathlon in 2018. I think the only year was 2020. Otherwise, we hosted
Alligators
this
had
event.
COVID, so we couldn't do it.
That's right. They don't have masks for gators?
Probably.
You guys.
So we're taking a break. When we come back, that's the same one. I thought you could do the other one, mix it in. You know, the one that scares everybody. Yeah, we won't do that. No. All right, we'll be back with our not hurricane watch. It's a tropical storm, tropical depression watch this week. We'll talk about that. Be right back on Sports Talk. I'm your host, Chris Trainer with the Onslow Sports Mission. Scott Smith. Right now, and we're sampling those delicious BLTs from Helen's Kitchen.
Very good.
Good, aren't they? Yeah, they do their stuff there.
They
And
look
we
good.
learned one thing too when they bring the breakfast bowls. I'm gonna start at the end of the show because when they are piping straight from there, the bomb, aren't they, Hollywood?
Oh man, it's just you gotta eat them hot. You know?
They're always good, but they were excellent that way. So, Marisa, we're gonna jump into some of your stuff,
Okay.
talking more about the events in a minute. But I want to do our watch, which is not even a tropical storm watch. It's more like a tropical depression. The Hurricanes are doing what a lot of teams do in hockey. They're saving their legs for the playoffs. By the way, of course, it's brought to you by Downey's Heating and Air Conditioning. Jason Humphrey, the gang, who's a big Hurricane. They sponsor a Hurricane Watch, but the Hurricanes are just they're not limping into the playoffs. It's kind of a fine line you walk because you want to have momentum for the playoffs, but you want your players to be rested too for a grueling 3-week run of playing, sometimes back-to-back nights. That's the way the
Do
playoffs
they
work.
get a break ever?
They do, but it's not much.
I feel like we always talk
maybe
about
2 or
hockey.
3 nights.
Hockey is like, well, she's saying during the year. Hockey is almost year round.
It starts in May and ends in June the next year. That was a joke. It doesn't. It starts in roughly September. That's when they get going probably in mid-August, practice-wise and stuff. Physical. The actual season starts in September, late September, and goes until June. So there's not much. It's
not
about
much of
2
a
months
break.
without hockey, yeah. So it kind of lets them get their legs a little bit before the playoffs start because we see lost 3-0 to Buffalo at Buffalo. Lost 5-4 to the Caps, and the Caps are one of the best teams in hockey. And that was really a great game. That was the game where Alexander Ovechkin got. No, that was not the game where he got his. Yes, it was. That was the game where he got his goal to pass Gretzky. Yeah, against the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes also lost 5-3 to the Red Wings, 5-1 to Boston, and Boston's a bottom feeder here. One of those deals. Then all of a sudden, luckily, I got to go last Saturday and watch them beat the crap out of the New York Rangers. And hockey fans in Raleigh and Ranger fans are not on the best terms because of all the influx of folks from up yonder where you came from, north of the Mason-Dixon line. They have come into Cary, and there's a lot of Rangers fans at the game.
I was going to say we're in the Hurricanes element, but like different economic impact. So many Northerners are moving to North Carolina.
You think?
It's crazy.
I would be willing to bet. Now, I'm no expert. I'm no heads on beds or sheets and feet.
Well,
Sheets
that's
over feet,
those
whatever.
are visitors.
Well, I'm no expert on the travel and the realignment or where they move to, but I'd be willing to bet more move down here than go up there. Yeah, just
it's more affordable in North Carolina to live.
things are just slower here too.
Parts of it, yes.
And we like it that way. The only thing is though, and this is
But
just
if you add
me
one
vent-
more
this is
traffic
just me
light to
venting.
Jacksonville.
I agree. Come to Wilmington on Highway 17, they had one every 30 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
But I never would go up to another place or another part of the country and try to start telling them that things aren't running right there. Don't come here because things are too slow because that's why you came here. Just enjoy it. Relax. Take it easy. Anyway, the Canes also lost 4-1. I did get to go Saturday and watch them to kick the Rangers, but we went Sunday too, so I shouldn't have gone 2 days in a row. That was my fault. They lost 4-1 to the Maple Leafs. The playoffs will start. It should be released any time now on their first round. I'm guessing probably Easter Sunday, it looks like. Which, unlike NASCAR, who doesn't race on Sundays, the NBA and NHL, that's when their playoffs are rolling. So, thank you to Downey's Heating and Air Conditioning for sponsoring our, let's call it our tropical depression watch this week. It'll be back to hurricane watch next week when the playoffs start. Now, are you a big hockey fan? We've talked about this before. Not at all. Not even when Atlanta had the Flames.
I mean, I've enjoyed the Thrashers.
They had the Flames.
Yeah,
first.
But I enjoy live hockey. But
So does
I
Atlanta
don't
have a
keep
team
up with-
now?
No.
Okay. Have you ever watched a documentary about the Danbury Trashers?
No.
Watch it. It's basically what The Sopranos was. I know it's a team that was run by the mob from Danbury, Connecticut. Watch it; it's entertaining.
I thought it was cool. Ovechkin could have had the record with an empty net, and he didn't do it.
He didn't want to go. He wouldn't go in.
Yeah, and then is it? I heard. I don't know if this is true. Did he do it in one less game than Gretzky?
Same amount.
Same amount.
But see, Gretzky, that was his final game. I don't know if it wasn't his final game. I don't know if he got a goal that final game, but just going to sail off and do more and more. He's still very. I mean, it's not like he's a scrub out there. He's not,
he's not like.
he's not riding out the string. He's pretty good still. Yeah. He'll still put you on your head too. He's a very physical player. So thank you once again to Dynasty Heating and Air Conditioning for sponsoring our Hurricane Watch. Jason Humphrey and the gang. Look forward to the Hurricanes getting back to playing regular hockey and getting in the playoffs. I just hope it's not one of those cases like in the NFL where, Kansas City sits submitting for the Super Bowl. With some teams, first round bye is a killer because you rest your players 1 week, then you got the bye, and next thing you know, they're rusty and you're done.
I've seen it in Major League Baseball playoffs for sure.
Oh yeah, a couple ago, there were all 4 of them lost.
Last year was the first time a bye team won of the playoff series. Yeah.
Do you know what all that means?
I zoned out. I was going to take
I can see her mind going over here.
She fell asleep. She asleep.
If the Hurricanes are in a tropical depression, what are the Braves in?
The Braves have not started the season yet. What is it? 3 wins? 4 wins? I think they're up to 4. 5 maybe. They're tough right now. Yeah, and you follow the Braves more than I do. Before we go, because Irene, there are lights going. Before all that, do the Braves have any chance this year at all, or is they just that bad this year?
I think they're that bad. Strider is coming off and pitching, so that should help. But I just think they're that bad this year.
Just retooling.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna take our last break. When we come back, we're gonna do our this day in sports history, and then finish with all your great stuff about the Jacksonville Onslow Sports Commission here on Sports Talk. Hey, welcome back to Sports Talk. I'm your host, Chris Rainer. Time for sports history on this date, on Friday, April 18th. Not necessarily on a Friday, but on April 18th, all this stuff happened at some time or another. This day in sports history is brought to you by the Redneck Barbecue Lab. The most delicious barbecue. Have not stopped yet. X319 East Crossroads, or they have a location here in Beaufort now. And you need to try it. Do you like brisket, Scott?
Not my favorite.
Do you like pulled pork?
Yes.
Do you like brisket? Pulled pork? You're a dairy princess. You don't eat
No, that's a
dairy from
Pork is not beef.
pork, not beef.
No, but brisket is beef.
Is it?
Yeah,
Milk.
brisket's beef.
I don't know. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
Anyway, but yeah, brisket is from yes.
I'll do.
It's got some-
I'm just adjusting.
All right. We're going to do this day in sports history one way or another here. In 1869, the first international cricket match. How did they get those little bugs to do the things?
It's amazing. Isn't
The
it?
first international cricket match held in San Francisco, won
Remind me,
by
what's-
California.
What is cricket?
Cricket is kind of like it's.
Is it
sort
like
of a
the
form
baseball
of- it's the
version?
thing where you knock with mass?
Okay, that's cricket. What's
That's
the
cricket,
other?
right?
That's croquet.
That's croquet.
That's cricket. Okay.
Cricket,
Cricket
is,
is-
almost
like
like
baseball.
baseball.
Okay.
The wooden
the
flat
English-
shell,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
throw
yeah.
it back.
That's
I
it.
think
Isn't it the English version?
It's really popular in India, though, isn't it?
Yes.
India, big. In
Yeah.
India.
It's kind of it's a baseball. It's like,
Well, from that and a game called Rounders, it's the type thing. Yeah, cricket. You're right. I was thinking about that.
you ever seen the movie's not good, but one of the Adam Sandler movies where they tell how baseball was invented.
I missed that one.
I'll send you that scene. It's
Okay, I'll have to roll
hilarious.
this
It should go next.
Sure. 1898, second Boston Marathon won by Canadian Ron McDonald in race record 2 hours and 42 minutes.
See, if it was me, it'd be 2 days, 42 hours, and
I mean,
no minutes.
I did my best was 4 hours and 20 minutes,
In a
and I thought I
marathon.
was gonna die.
And that's the 26.2, right?
That is 26.2. Yes.
The second one, the race record, of course. It's the race record. It's the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He only had to beat 1 year, right?
that's true. So I'm assuming it's probably been beat since then.
Oh yeah.
Oh well, yeah. I think it was 2 hours or was it just under 2 hours?
I think under 2 hours.
I think it was just,
Really?
yeah, it was, I think it was Boston, and he was from Kenya, I believe.
Oh, that
It was just a couple years ago.
See, I could do the walking race thing, the walk race, or what do they call it, if I was going to a ball game. My wife says I can get out, walking around for exercise. I'm complaining about my back, and all that.
You're walking from the-
But the south side of Charlotte to the Panthers Stadium, I could be there in 3 minutes.
Now,
You two could do senior games.
I walk fast.
Now, you know something?
Why gotta be
Maurice
senior
is too young to remember this. Remember back in the day, you go to the mall and there's blue
Mall
hairs.
walkers. Yeah.
Mallies,
The mall
we call
walkers
them,
walking on- That could be you, Chris.
We called them mollies.
They would be in there walking before the stores opened.
But
The mall was open,
Yeah,
but the stores are
exactly.
closed. Yeah.
they're turning laps.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to flip
All
top
right,
and let you do the next one.
1923, 62,281 paid on hand for the opening of Yankee Stadium. That's obviously the old Yankee Stadium. I have been to old Yankee Stadium, saw the Braves and Yankees play.
And somewhere Maurice's predecessor in New York, the NYNY Commission, was calculating heads on beds. for
Probably
that.
not back then.
That was probably, well, maybe.
Well, think about it, like how many free tickets they
What was the
gave out.
Depression? They probably, I don't know why they.
That
I
was
don't know, it
not the
just people that
Depression.
just showed up.
Depression was
I don't think the Twins were very good either, though.
roaring
Roaring
20s for a reason.
Yeah, I guess
They were
you're right.
rolling in the dough,
You
and
don't-
then
Right.
it just.
You
Little
didn't
history lesson there, folks.
you weren't doing well back then?
Nope.
Their fashion was pretty fun.
And it's funny how it kind of mellows out and it's back to a while ago.
Yeah.
All right, in 1946, Jackie Robinson debuts as second baseman for the Montreal Royals. Said he debuts as a second baseman, so was his with the in Major League Baseball was for this, or was, I guess the Montreal Royals
What number do people wear for Jackie Robinson, Maurice?
41. Oh,
I don't know.
42.
42. I
actually.
was
Thought
going to
that
say
maybe.
42.
Yeah.
but I forgot. I didn't know you were asking her to start.
Well,
with
because the
them, so
movie's
that's-
42, right?
42.
I actually do like that movie.
All right,
19.
No, actually, we're going back. Okay, we'll keep that same rotation. That'll work.
Yeah, don't confuse us.
Yeah.
I love that you said us and you really meant.
I'm used to NASCAR. We go this way.
Counterclockwise.
1950 Yankees win 15-10 after trailing Red Sox 9-0 in 6.
So okay, you have some sports knowledge. What is unique about baseball as opposed to other sports?
The athletes can be fat. They can
Not
be.
fat, big bone.
They don't run that much.
I think I know what answer you're looking
Okay.
for.
Let's see if she gets that. In relation to a
Sorry.
comeback, let's put it that way.
I have no idea.
No clock.
There's no clock. You can never.
To organize.
It's
an
why
event.
baseball is very slow.
She can't stand that. But
They need a clock.
this is.
I mean, think about when you're staffing people for the state, like the staff people. You're like, well, what time do I get off
when
work?
it's over. Okay, there was a guy,
You
a
know what
very
I mean?
famous guy, and I know you can know who. It's not over until it's over.
Yogi Bear.
Yogi Berra. He was famous for those Yogi-isms. And that one sounds so simple, true. It's not over until it's over. Baseball, until you get that last out, the game doesn't
When I
end.
was doing internships in college in Chattanooga, some of my friends would be doing for the Chattanooga Lookouts.
Uh-huh.
And because of what we're talking about, they're like, we left at night and we're on a 10 stand. I mean, it's rough.
And then some games you'll have a pitching duel and you'll be out of there an hour and a half.
Yeah.
That's how much, why it's really different than any other sport. But other sports, like we went to a hockey game a couple years ago in the playoffs, we didn't leave till 2 a.m. from Raleigh coming home because it went 4. And in the playoffs, you don't have the penalty shots like you do in soccer or
whatever, yeah.
regular season. You just have until that golden goal is scored. Same thing with NFL in playoffs. It goes until it's over. There was one other thing I want to interject there, but anyway, it's gone.
All right. 1958 National League single game record crowd of 78,682 as the Los Angeles Dodgers win their first ever home game over their rival, the San Francisco Giants, 6-5 at Los Angeles Memorial
And
Coliseum.
you threw that in. See,
I did
you're
throw
a
that in there.
font of sports
I
knowledge.
did throw
How
that.
appropriate is it? It was over their
Yep.
arch rivals, yeah. All right, in 1964, LA Dodgers pitcher Sandy Koufax. This is the first lady to play in soccer, by the way. Sandy Koufax strikes out the side on 9 pitches for Major League best, third time in his career. Okay, that gave it away.
I
You
was
said,
gonna
you said
say.
soccer and her.
Where did I say soccer?
You said first
Yeah.
woman.
Oh,
soccer.
did I?
Yes.
But it obviously is.
I got a different
we were
sheet
joking.
here.
We like to the sports educate Marisa Reader as we go along. You got the next one.
1966, Bill Rupp's first African American coach in NBA history, Boston Celtics.
And of course, he had a long playing career with him too.
Yes.
That was very successful.
Yep.
He just recently died, didn't he?
Yes.
Like in the last couple of years, yeah.
Or
A true icon.
was it this year? I think it was this year.
Well, within the last year. or so.
One longest game in professional baseball, the Pawtucket tie Rochester 2 in 32 innings. Game resumed the 23rd of June.
And there you go. Until somebody wins, which in this case, I guess they just finally said, to heck, we're done.
There was a game last year where a game got suspended. The guy had gotten traded, so he played for one team, played for 2 different teams in the same ball game.
Yeah, I remember that because when they came back, he was
Yeah.
in the other team.
Yeah.
So he was in a wild box score. Did you know there was one game that actually was over 3 different days? Pass called, came back a day. It was over 3
Yeah.
actual days. You guys to me?
Yeah.
All right. Do you know how to pronounce her name? She's a runner, I think. Yeah.
What are you talking
The
about?
next one, 1984.
No, you're at.
You don't want to do it?
Oh,
It's
Oh.
Joan
Joan
Benoit.
Benoit.
Joan Benoit,
Monet?
isn't it?
Monet.
John
Bull-
Monet Rams.
No, it's Joan Benoit. That's right. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, 2
Yeah.
hours, 22 minutes,
And
43
43
seconds.
seconds, yeah.
So your time is below that now?
Yeah, I was 4:20. That was my best. I've
4
done.
hours?
Mhm.
Okay.
It was much slower than the person.
She said yes. And then double.
We're all discombobulated today. So you got the next one.
Oh, 1987. Gray Robertson does 200-mile-per-hour free fall to save unconscious skydiver near Coolidge, Arizona.
What?
Wow.
Why? Did he jump out of, I guess, jumped out of a plane? As low as it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Bless his heart.
All right, I'm a little confused on this one. 1980 Schmidt hits his 500th home run versus Robinson. I guess Robinson was pitching for the
I
Pirates
guess. I
because
don't
there's
know
no
which
such thing
Robinson
as a
it was.
Robinson Pirates. Okay, so I guess Robinson was
It's Robinson
for the
Caruso,
Pirates.
but yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know which Robinson was. Best third baseman ever? when you count hitting and fielding and everything?
I'd have to really think about it, but probably not.
Okay. In 1910, announced retirement from football. A lot of they say he's the GOAT instead of Tom Brady, just because he didn't play in as many Super Bowls. He just won them all. I don't think he lost.
Well, and very, very different rules.
Oh, yeah.
Quarterback and stuff.
True.
It's hard to compare. But as much as I don't like it, you almost got to give it to Brady.
Oh, yeah. With 6 rings, it's hard.
And playing in, what, 10?
And he ended up retiring, but leaving the Patriots where he had to going away.
1998 NFL Draft, Tennessee quarterback Peyton Manning, first pick.
Balls.
Huge mistake. Tennessee quarterbacks. So he won 2 Super Bowls, including one over our Panthers, which I didn't like because I thought that they Cam Newton a lot. I was not a big Cam fan, to be honest. I didn't like the showboating, but he was graded differently than other quarterbacks. When you're 6'5", 280, they don't give you some of the calls that a Brady would get. You wouldn't admit that?
Yeah, I would.
If Brady got hit some of the ways that Denver hit, or
You've seen a lot of, Shad. Yeah, you're just
saying really, well, not really. I was going to say LeBron James, but he just, whether he gets hit or not, he flops anyway. Yeah. So I think you got the last one.
All right, 1999, Wayne Gretzky plays. We just talked about this.
Yeah.
Plays his last game in the NHL. Plus, his New York Rangers lose 2-1 to the Pittsburgh Penguins.
See, that's weird to me right there with him. But Gretzky's still the great one because of all the assists and everything. How did he not stay with Edmonton all those years? How did you ever trade a Wayne Gretzky?
So what, he was Oilers, Kings, Rangers? Did he play for
Oilers,
anybody
Kings,
else?
and Rangers are the only 3 I know of. But there might have been another one. But still, that's 3 that you would have thought it, with that kind of record would have just stayed.
And back then, that tended to happen more than, now everybody's a different team.
Now
every year.
You're a different free agent mercenary, basically. So that's this day in sports. Thank you to Redneck Barbecue Lab for sponsoring that for us. Jerry Stevenson and the gang. Y'all need to try the lab. Go to the one in Beaufort and give it a whirl. It's good.
Let's get back from 45 minutes ago about how you register.
So
did we leave it that long ago?
I don't know.
Go ahead.
Just as a reminder, this is May 10th in downtown Jacksonville. Triathlon 5K, so 3 options. You can go to newriversplash.com to register, to look at the course maps, to the downtown residents and businesses. We will take over downtown on May 10th. We will see about 175 participants over the 3 distances, and some roads will be closed for a short time. And we're thankful to the city of Jacksonville and the support we get from the police department, the Marine Corps. It's equity put on this event.
And we could not do this event without Moore Buick GMC. They're a tremendous sponsor. This is not a cheap event to do.
They are.
And they've been a great partner for this event for a few years now.
Is that possibly your biggest thing to do?
No. Numbers-wise, no. But logistics and the amount of gray hair I get from the event, it's our worst. Yeah, it's the worst.
I prefer to call it platinum.
We need the most. If you're interested, you can reach out through our website, You can imagine with the scope of a 17-mile bike course, all the people in the water, the 5K, it takes a lot of bodies.
Boats in the water,
put this on.
Jet skis, everything.
We also get support from the amateur ham radio operator, so they really help us.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do they do that?
They open the Haters Point, or we got a cyclist. I don't know what that really
Are
means.
using just walkies and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
No, it's real ham. I'm saying it's not food.
I know what ham radio means.
He's like, I'll volunteer.
Everything's not about food to me. Say to the person who ate while we were on the air.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of support that we receive from this event, and we're really it puts us on the map in the triathlon world in the USA.
So you have some in that series that you've told us about before that come for that race, right?
Yes,
That's
because they can
series.
earn points. So when I was talking about our fastest swimmer, those are elite athletes. So they're going to be swimming the fastest and cycling. I think they cycled. I think it was in 40 minutes, and they
We're like, the
ran
first
in like
cyclist
19.
just passed us. I'm like, I would still be putting my tennis shoes
Yeah.
on. They've already swam and
Wham.
first
Their
checkpoint.
transition
Pride.
is like 30 seconds to,
I'd have to take a shower so I didn't get chafy.
Last
From the
year,
water.
this was the state championship for North Carolina. Yep.
It's not this year? Do they rotate us?
I think, but it also added a whole lot to us for not a tremendous amount of upside
Yeah.
because it added just a lot. So I don't know.
It's been stuff this year, just not all a headache.
Yeah, or at least that we'd be jumping up and down saying, make us the state championship again.
they have their own requirements that we had to go by, and we already have enough that we do.
Because we've got our race series, we've got the North Carolina Tri-Series, then you added in that. It was a lot.
So people who don't remember New Riverside, just remember, please go to replayjlc.com
Yep.
to get to.
Yep.
Yep.
Now, is there something else under that there?
Well, New River Splash is a part of a running series, and so after New River Splash, not our event, but it's in our series, and Running with the Law is on a Tuesday evening this year,
As opposed to Running from the Law, Judas Priest song.
and the money raised from that goes to the Special Olympics. So the police department and Jacksonville Recreation Parks put it on that event. And then we roll into the fall with our Moving Mullet on October 4th, Miles for Mammos. The money raised there helps fund free man for women. So it's a great cause. It's through Onslow Memorial Foundation, Hospital
Foundation, yeah.
And then we have our November 1st is our last official race in the series for points, is our Fuzzy Peach Trail Run.
Mm-hmm.
And then we will, more
That's the
info
one
to
you eat
come.
Fuzzy Peach.
No, you get Fuzzy Peach.
Ralph, yeah.
And that's at Heinz Farm Park and Stables, which
Okay.
is a formerly equine country.
Yeah, I've heard they're doing away with the horse stables there. Have you heard that? Is that true?
I have not that officially.
Yeah,
mean,
it's
it's
talked
just
about a lot, but I don't know
speculated,
that it's official.
And then more info to come, but we're going to have a fun run at the end of the year, and then we give out our, it's called the White Elephant.
Do you raise that?
It's not that. Essentially we're
Is it
taking,
named after me, the white elephant?
no, that the name came from one of our board members. I was going to call it the Leftovers Race. So when I talk about what they do with all their leftover medals, their leftover bibs they can't use again, and they have a fun run, and so at the finish line you could have
You'll get a bag with a medal, and you may love it, or you may want to try to trade with somebody standing next to you.
Oh, I
or-
see. That's
Yeah.
where the white elephant
Yeah.
came in. Okay.
Yeah, so it's not a timed race. It's going to be pretty affordable. It's just going to be fun. I don't even know if it's going to be a 5K yet. I'm still working on a location and more info. to come.
We've kind of talked all races, so let me throw out a few other
Throw out
things
some
here.
other stuff.
So obviously, last time we were here, we had a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu event in January. They're coming back in June, so that's coming on June 7th. Obviously, the East Coast Invitational Basketball Team Camp is here June 19th through the 22nd. And
That's a big event. Is that probably your biggest event?
It is economic impact.
Participants-wise, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I was actually texting with Wells yesterday. The number of teams range between 28 and 36, and a number of
Yeah.
that you can know exactly.
And I've heard they're changing the way they do the officials this year. A lot of the college ACC officials may not be here, but it'll be like the junior college officials.
I think it's
I
still
just
going.
got
I
a
think
little
it's
scuttlebutt.
still going to be like a camp, but maybe
Yeah.
not as many of those guys
Right.
will be here. And then in August 9th, Iron Chef fight. One ticket gets you into both, but it's 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Probably in the neighborhood of 40 to 50 fights total for both sessions. And then an event we started last year that Moore Buick also sponsors, the Onslow Cup Disc Golf. It's that same weekend. It's August 9th and 10th.
Okay.
And yeah, so
You're a disc golfer, aren't you?
yeah.
Is it Froth? Froth?
I don't hear anybody call it that.
I heard The Office before.
Yeah.
So the boxing thing this year is not the first night of high school football.
not.
That's good. It's to just help your attendance
We're
because you know how it is run.
Yeah.
It's in conjunction with the All Marine Boxing Hall of Fame.
Yeah, they have
They-
their reunion that weekend, and it's all those folks coming.
And I know you're based on that because you have to basically do it when they come back for that reunion.
Well,
So that's good.
they can be a little flexible with us too, but sometimes it's facility availability, some other thing, ring availability. Yeah, like that, right?
We're limited on facilities right now.
Simple guy like rhymes.
It's good.
What's going on after that?
Oh, that racist.
The rest of the races.
Just named, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So no jamboree this year.
No, we canceled it.
But eventually
Give us a turf field. We'll see.
we're working on it. We talked about it there. We got some centerpieces that would have.
Yeah. So of the rectangle fields, the center one will be a quote championship field. It'll be the one that has turf for sure. Some of the others may as well, but that one turf for sure. Stands, press box, lights, all those things that you would need for to do the jamboree.
Good stuff. Now, are you guys involved in some of the planning with that, or just basically you just get the news of it?
A little about. I mean, I wouldn't say we're involved in the planning, but they've definitely taken our input and asked suggestions and. But they're moving along, to sect enough to include us in
Well,
some of the
obviously, you
discussions.
overlap on some stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we're definitely gonna take advantage of it when it's done.
Oh yeah. Now, what about is there a timetable on anything? Just kinda
Not
open-ended.
officially. I mean, I guess the last thing I heard was they hope to break ground maybe by next year. That could be late next year, but
Their focus
still.
is the multi-purpose facility first, correct?
Last update, yes, I guess that
What's
could
the
change.
multi-purpose? That's the indoor
Indoor,
thing. Yeah.
yeah.
That is 8 basketball.
Yeah, which is 16 volleyball.
And will that be the future home of the East Coast Invitational? Probably.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then it also has a conference center that's connected, but not. Hey, if you're just using the conference center, they'll have to be heated and air conditioned and lit up, and vice versa. But you can get to one from the other inside. But
The room can be split, so you could have a concert on.
but
one
you've
and
seen
So it's big enough for that.
Yeah, you've seen venues where if you open it, you got to open all of it. They're smart enough to say, let's make it where that doesn't have to be the case. And the last thing we saw there, if you've been to Rocky Mount, you've seen this, but so just picture a huge arena when you got 4 courts on one side and 4 on the other. Well, on one half of that, so 4 courts, it also will fold down into a bowl of ECI championship games. If you only wanted to use one
people,
court, could be there, and you got, I don't know how many seats. I think Rocky Mount might be close to 3,000 on that end. So yeah,
And it's funny you should mention the ECI game. That's one thing I liked about Wazir about when he gets a championship game. I'd love to see more of a formatted, instead of like the clock always running. And I know they stop it at the end, but you know what I mean? More of a more of a staged game, more of a structured game.
Before I moved here, I know they used to do it championship games.
Yeah.
But yeah, we never talked about.
But with the new facilities,
running
once
clock.
that's up and running, they probably could be able to do that maybe.
Well, and even at the Commons now, I don't know if you've been over there lately. We now have scoreboards on each end of the sideways courts.
Instead of having to
So you're
look
not
up
having
and
to look backwards.
if you're in this corner, having to look over the top of your head.
Right. So that'll be great
I
this
think all
year.
the lights-
And even for the fans, like if we're sitting at that quote tournament desk,
Yeah.
we can't see the one scoreboard.
They'll ask me. I'm like, I don't know how the lights.
You have to
are
walk out onto the court to see it.
So
if
that'd
you're
be
sitting
cool
over
that they're on
there.
both sides, and that's awesome.
Yeah, so that'll be good. But
So I'm assuming it'll be on the ends now.
it's on the end.
Yeah,
so the players are look like
yeah,
you
it'd
should
be in
be.
the middle,
Yeah, yeah. So
That's,
the players
that's awesome. Yeah. Well, anything else you guys want to cover before we go?
No.
Have we covered all the JOSC stuff coming up?
Yeah, just check the
going on?
website, check all the social media, and keep updated. And we'd love to see you either participating in a race or coming out and watching boxing or playing disc golf, whatever.
Or be a volunteer.
Yeah, we need volunteers for every event.
And always play JOSC.com for everything.
Yeah.
You can find it
you
there.
can link it to there. And one more time, hit the first one coming up is your
New River Splash,
New
May
River Splash.
10th. So newriversplash.com, triathlon, duathlon, and 5K.
And you're not participating in that this year?
I am a race director.
So you
I
can't
don't
do
have
that.
time.
Is that your excuse to not get in the water?
Well, I'm not a big
I
swimmer.
swam last year.
No, don't believe. May help
That's
with
true.
swimming. So,
And we were at that opening the other day. Billy Sweeney was a big driving force after Golden Corral, and he spoke there. And some of the things that's going to make available, like having where Onslow County can have swim teams. You know,
Right. They do use the practice.
because there's no pool. I know we got a little swamp here behind Southwest, but
You'd
it's
use
good
it.
for swimming.
so that's another great asset for our
Oh yeah,
community. That's
That's true.
exciting.
that's one to cover. We got. Thank y'all for
No,
being with us.
thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us. I always
Anytime.
appreciate being able to get
We
the
always
word
try to
out.
do it at least once a quarter, or so to kind of put things out there, and then East comes up, we're definitely have that, and we might stop and by.
So Mark Hornsby, who we work with on the boxing events, he brings his rings, and he's a boxing official. He's a boxing motor. He would need to schedule him with you,
Well,
Got
no,
it.
we won't if we can.
and then we can also maybe give away some tickets to Freedom Fight.
Yeah. Now, wouldn't that start on a Friday night?
It's a Saturday. So it's
So it's
if
possible
you
on
could get him
Friday?
here on Friday.
Yeah, if we could do that
morning,
live,
sure.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
We always do the fun. It's best to have it in
No, we
person
might could pull
Friday
that off because we won't set up for that event till either Friday night or Saturday morning.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't be tied up on a Friday
Yeah, we
morning.
could run him through in the morning.
If we got him here in time. He's in Fayette area.
Some of your events, you type on right.
Yeah.
The East Coast starts on what, Thursday now?
Mhm.
Isn't
Yes.
that whenever everything starts?
Yeah.
So we still can do that live because stop being on last year.
Yeah,
so
first game usually
we
starts at 4:00 on
Yeah.
Thursday.
then just kind of do the broadcast, what's going on.
We're going to work it, and we're here to get volunteers to run those cameras. You're literally moving a handle back and forth across the court, but we were pulling people out of stands last year trying to get some
Well, I
run
was
cameras.
leading up to all ready to enroll like the day before I get a call from some. So we got some kids from their high school
Right.
to get some
Right.
scholarship hours. And I assumed that all your stuff, like volunteer could get hours for like scholarships. and
If they're
stuff.
high school, they get that. If they're Marines, they get letters of appreciation, which helps with promotions. Yeah, we always send out or sign whatever.
Let them
you
out of the
need.
brig if they have to get community service hours.
We even had a appreciation program going this year where if you get X number of hours, you're featured in the newsletter as a volunteer.
Okay.
You get a free Fuzzy Peach yogurt. If you move up that level, there's some apparel you get, and then whoever has the most volunteer is all worth a gift card.
Oh, you got eligible for that because
No, that
you
would
do
be
a lot
great.
of hours that are beyond what.
We had already wrapped up.
That's true. Y'all do what your normal 8 to 5 hours are. A lot like teacher coaches. A lot of people don't realize how much y'all probably do at these events. So.
Man, Scott says be there at 5. He's there at 4. He's already popped up 2 tents and filled all the coolers.
Don't knock
I mean,
it.
he's,
Don't knock it.
no, he's a go-getter. He
That's
puts
right.
me to shame sometimes.
Thank y'all what you do for the area. I'm looking forward to that especially. And then you got the New River Splash coming up next. So.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
y'all.
you very much.
Once
Thank
again
you.
for being with us. We want to thank our sponsors before we go. Sports Talk is brought to you today by these fine sponsors: National Dodge, Chrysler Jeep Ram, Golden Corral, Billy Sewell in the gang, Rock Creek EMC, your touch cooperative, Southern Touch Painting, Roger Carroll in the gang, Fountain Management, Miss Sandra Fountain, Onslow County Motor Company, Ben Beasley, Barnes Diamond Gallery, that's Miss Lindsay Jarman, Lane Associates Family Dentistry, Dr. Summergan, Bartley Insurance Services, Bill Mercer. I saw Bill at a golf tournament last week. We were at the FCA tournament. Bill's just a great dude, man. Have you been around Bill? If you've never been, he has a lot of sports knowledge. And Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning also. I want to thank Helen's Kitchen. How was the BLT?
Delicious.
Would you
Thank
rate it on a scale of 1? Our sports talk show and guests hurricane watch, hurricane or tropical storm watch, tropical depression. It'll be back to hurricane watch next week because playoffs. That's something you need. Motor busy. NASCAR boys are off this week for Easter, and then Talladega. That's gonna take some getting used to. Talladega, Alabama. All right, thank you, and that's a wrap. Thank you, Hollywood. I want to thank you also for all you do, and we'll see you next week on